ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣೇಶ ಶಾರದಾ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ರಾಮಾಯ ರಾಮಭದ್ರಾಯ ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಾಯ ವೇಧಸೆ ರಘುನಾಥಾಯ ನಾಥಾಯ ಸೀತಾಯ ಪತಯೇ ನಮಃ. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 99 of Ayodhya Kanda. In the previous chapters, we have seen while on Chitrakoota, Sri Rama explaining the beauty of the nature and Mandakini river to Sita, he saw the commotion that arose in the forest, and finally Lakshmana found that it was because of the army of Ayodhya approaching them. Initially, Lakshmana suspected that Bharatha came there with some evil mind, but later, when Rama told about the love of Bharatha towards his brother, then finally Lakshmana accepted that, and both are waiting in their hermitage, waiting for Bharata to come near to them. While at the same time, below that mountain, Bharata stopped his entire army and is walking on foot while searching for his brother Sri Rama. Sri Bharata, with great eagerness, pointed out the indications of the position of Sri Rama's hermitage to his brother Shatrughna. He appealed to Sri Vasista to bring his mothers there speedily behind him, while he devoted to his elder brother hastily went on before. Sumantra followed Shatrughna, who walked behind Bharata and who was equally anxious to behold Rama. The prince, proceeding at length, described the hut thatched with leaves in the mid of the hermitages of the ascetics, and beheld before it a heap of broken wood and flowers plucked for worship. To mark the site of the ashrama, Sri Rama and Lakshmana had bound kusha grass and strips of cloth to the trees. He perceived also great heaps of the dung of deer and buffaloes, dried for fuel to be used in winter. The illustrious and mighty Bharata, going forward, spoke measured words to his brother and counselor, saying, I deem we have reached the place spoken of by the sage Bharadwaja, and that the river Mandakini is not far distant from here. Prince Lakshmana has bound strips of cloth to the trees so that when fetching water on a dark night, he may know the way back to the hermitage. This appears to be the road traversed by the great elephants who are roaring in the forest. I perceive the black smoke rising from the ascetic sacrificial fire. Here I shall behold that lion among men, Sri Rama, the great preceptor, seated in majesty like a resplendent sage. Proceeding a little further, Prince Bharata reached the river Mandakini on Chitrakoota, and addressing his companions, he said, the chief of men, very good among the very God among living beings, is seated in this lonely forest in the posture of an ascetic. Woe unto me, wretched is my life and birth, on account of which the most resplendent Lord of all, Sri Ramachandra, is plunged in this affliction and dwells in the forest deprived of all joy. Despised by men because of this, I will now fall at the feet of Rama and Sita in order to propitiate them. While still lamenting, Bharata perceived the hut thatched with leaves, pure and pleasant, covered with the leafy boughs of sala, tala, and other trees, resembling an altar covered with kusha grass. Here and there, mighty bows and shields covered with gold, wielded in battle, hung, added to the beauty of the place, and nearby stood a quiver of arrows, bright as the rays of the sun and keen as the serpents with shining hoods of the Bhagavati river. There also were two scimitars in scabbards of gold and two shields emblazoned with golden flowers. Also, many deer skins and gloves with gold embroidered gauntlets. That habitation was impregnable as a cave and unassailable by the herds of wild deer. Bharata discerned in this dwelling Sri Rama seated near the altar, resplendent as fire. For a long time, Sri Bharata gazed on the beauty of the scene. He saw Rama sitting, his matted locks coiled in the crown of his head, shining like a flame, his body clad in a robe of bark, covered with the skin of the black antelope, his shoulders resembling a lion's, his arms were long, his eyes were eyes like lotuses. That ruler of earth and ocean, the sovereign of eternal decrees, Sri Bharata beheld that righteous one with Lakshmana and Sita seated on a platform strewn with kusha grass, appearing like the eternal Brahma. Beholding him seated thus, the pious Bharata was overpowered with sorrow and affection and ran towards him, his throat choked with grief, weeping and lamenting. Though the pain was past restraining, he yet mustered it and spoke, Alas, my elder brother, worthy of a seat in the royal assembly, beloved of his counselors, is today associating with wild beasts in the forest. He deserving of apparel adorned with thousands of gold coins is sitting clad in a deer skin in order to practice the obligations of righteous living. Sri Rama, who was formerly adorned with garlands of different flowers, how can he endure the weight of his matted locks? He who should have acquired merit by the performance of sacrifices aided by the rishis, today increases his meritorious deeds by the practice of austerity. Now is the countenance of my elder brother, formerly adorned with sandal paste cover, is now covered with dust. Alas, it is on my account that Sri Rama, who formerly enjoyed every delight, is today undergoing this distress. Woe unto me, who am abhorred by all. Thus lamenting the wretched Bharata, his face bedewed with tears, sought to run and fall at the feet of Rama, sank unconscious on the way. Deeply afflicted, that great hero, Prince Bharata, cried out, O excellent one, and uttered no more, exclaiming only, O noble sir. He could proceed no further. Shatrughna, also weeping, embraced the feet of Sri Rama, on which Rama, gathering them both, Bharata and Shatrughna, in his arms, melted into tears. Then Sumantra and Guha approached Sri Rama and Lakshmana, and it appeared as if the sun, moon, Jupiter, and Venus had conjoined in the heavens. The inhabitants of the forest, beholding the four princes met together in their mid, shed tears of joy. Thus ended chapter 99 of Ayodhya Kanda, where we saw finally Bharata could able to find Rama and is now almost merging in his embrace. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmira Puravasini Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.